Yo, you want to make money? Listen to what we have to say and watch the episodes and subscribe.
We're talking about mentoring?
Mentors, yeah.
Finding a mentor?
Importance of having one. Finding one, having one.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Watch how I'll nail this the first time.
Now the pressure's on. I think we have episodes where you didn't, but let's see.
That's true.
Let's see what you got.
There's no way I could read a teleprompter.
Let's see what you got, dog.
I can barely read myself. Welcome, everybody, to Born Broke with Mike Hoferth, and we're going to talk about mentors. Mikey, take it away.
Thank you, George. Thank you. I appreciate it. You did nail that one. And I like the animation behind it.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I use a lot of hand motions.
As we get further down the line, you get better. You get better. But mentors, yeah, mentors. Mentors are a really important thing to have, you know, and I don't know if people know what mentors actually mean out there. But mentors are basically somebody you look up to, right? So it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a coach, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody you look up to. Somebody that is inspirational, somebody that might push you or that you strive to be like, you know.
And specifically to this show and related to personal finance.
Yeah.
Don't find your friends that are in the same situation. Like the reason.
That's a good point, George.
Well, I mean, look,
point.
In my life, I've had you in regards to finances to always bounce ideas off of. And yes, you're a nice guy. You're fun to hang out with. But if you were a loser, you being a cool guy would not be enough for me to want to stay friends, right? So, like, you have to find people that are ahead of you in life that you can look up to, that you can bounce ideas off of, and it's not just in personal finance, but just where you want to be.
Just where you want to be, career-wise, you know, just personally. Like things, people that you want to aspire to be, like George said, right? Your mentor is usually somebody that's older, or somebody that's been more successful, or somebody that's achieved something that might be important to you. You know, my mentor in particular was very successful financially. He lived in an area that I always aspired to live in myself. He definitely raised the bar to a certain level that I'm still trying to achieve to get there. You know, but he's also been accessible and open for me to actually ask questions. He's given good advice. I think on a few episodes, we've actually touched on, you know, how he pushed me and said, if I don't believe in myself, nobody will.
Right.
So I have to take myself serious if I want other people to take me serious.
Sure.
So, you know, those are the important key things, you know. It's different than a coach, but a coach could be your mentor. You know, but like from a coaching standpoint, you know, coaches do set goals and push you and kind of ride you to be a better person in whatever they're coaching you, whether that's probably sports a lot of times. That's what people associate coaches, but there's also like financial coaches. There's also like mental health coaches. There's all kinds of coaches out there, right? But coaches can be mentors, but coach and mentor are sometimes different, right? So a mentor is somebody that you kind of hold dear and clear, and they actually give you access.
Like dear and clear? I've never heard that one.
Dear and clear.
I've heard hold dear, but I've never heard clear.
But you want to have a clear path to them, so they can
good recovery.
Yeah, so that you can pick their brain when you need to and ask advice. And
what do you mean pick their brain? About what?
You know, pick their brain like this. You know, you pick their brain.
But what are you
want to
picking
pick their brain?
Like, about everything or just
everything? It could be as simple as, you know, tomorrow I have a big interview. Would you listen to me and tell me, you know, any notes? Give me any notes on my interview that maybe, you know, I could do better. Or my interview might be for this position. What do you recommend? Are there any pointers you could give me? Or it could be, hey, you're really successful and I would like to be that successful. Like, how did you get there? Like, what were the steps that?
But you bring up a good point, and I think this is really one of those things that you have to understand is everybody thinks that mentor is just going to plop right in your lap and they're just going to be like, hey, I've arrived and I'm here to help you in XYZ. Not the case. All the mentors that I've had, I've been very bullish on going up to them and saying, can you be my mentor? Like literally ask them that, not like, hey, I need help with this. Because people do generally want to help people.
Sure.
But when you say mentor, it's more of like you're flattering them rather than asking them for help.
Right.
So it's like a help and you're flattering them. Just say, hey, would you be willing to be my mentor? And they're like, sure. And sometimes they'll be like, no, I'm not able to do that. I don't have time, but I would love to, maybe in 6 months or whatever. But you got to ask.
Yeah, you have to ask. You know, we covered that too. You have to ask. You know, that's
ask to get.
Yeah, ASK to GET. George learned something.
Yeah, but don't spell it out for me. Just say it.
ASK to GET.
Yeah, when you spell it out, I don't even know what that means.
Well,
just being honest.
I'm just challenging myself to make sure I haven't forgotten anything that we've actually spoke about before. But yeah, I mean, George said bullish, you know, be aggressive, you know, go after what you want, you know. They're not going to just come to you. Like, they don't know that you might be looking up to them. That's one big thing, you know. You have to actually approach them, see if they'll mentor you. And mentoring doesn't necessarily mean it's a lot of time, but just see if they'd be accessible to you to ask questions when you need to, you know, or when you fall on a hard thing and you want to maybe bang some ideas back and forth and see what their opinion is or what they would do in that situation, you know. From a financial standpoint, a lot of times mentors, like we said earlier, are much more successful people, right? I think we talked about running, you know, in a network of your friends earlier on, or, you know, watch what network you run in. You know, for me, I always run in a network of friends that pushes me to be better, right? I always want friends that push me to be better. You know, George, you push me to be better all the time. Without you, I probably wouldn't be sitting in this chair, to be honest. You know, you were the one that inspired me to actually buy this gear and actually get started with something, but we didn't know what we were going to do, but here we are.
Wasn't my money.
Easy to do when it's not.
Sure.
But here we are.
But it's an investment. It's not like I told you to go buy like some, you know, frivolous, I don't know, expensive car or something. I don't know.
No. It's an investment. It's an investment for the future. It's an investment for everybody that actually takes their time to listen to what we have to say. You know, again, we're not experts, but at the same time, we're sharing stories.
I'm an expert.
On what?
A couple things.
Oh my God.
I don't need to disclose it right now.
Yeah, we'll cover that in another episode maybe.
But experts about what? Or you're not an expert?
No, we're not experts in finance, so to speak. We're 40-year veterans of life experience.
Are you 40?
I'm 45.
Oh, I'm 47. Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're 40-year veterans of financial experience that we're sharing with you at home to hopefully inspire you to accelerate your financial situation and get yourself to that financial freedom we always speak of whatever that may be. Whether that may be, let me recap, whether that's, you know, aspiring to buy a car, whether that's aspiring to move out of your apartment, whether that's aspiring to move out of your parents' home, whatever that is. Or, you know, some of you probably have a lot bigger aspirations than, you know, I'm even mentioning. Some of you want to be multimillionaires. I guarantee it. I wanted to be that years ago. I just didn't know how to get there. It took me 40 years. But here we are, sharing you the knowledge.
Sharing you?
Yeah, sharing with you the knowledge.
Sharing with them.
Yeah, we're sharing with them the knowledge.
But you're an expert, so you don't have to be all humble. You're an expert in finance. Obviously, you've managed, we've talked about it several times, but it's a big number, $3 billion, billion. Yeah. So you know a lot about money, and you've kind of parlayed that into your own life, personal finance. You've helped me. You are an expert, right? It doesn't, like, are you the foremost expert in the whole entire world? I don't know. Maybe not, but you're an expert, right? And people need to know that, and maybe they need to come and ask you to be their mentor, whether it's lobbing in an email, lobbing in a comment to our channel where we can get to it, and, you know, maybe have a one-on-one session. I don't know.
That's exactly why we're here. We're here to be accessible to you, to be a mentor. Like we can be a mentor, right? And once you reach a certain place in your career, you might be a mentor, right? You might be a mentor.
It's all full circle.
Yeah, and then you start creating proteges of yourself. A protege is somebody that then follows in your footsteps to achieve things that they aspire to be, right? And then you share your knowledge. It's all about giving back. You know, that's what we're here to do. We're here to give back. We're here to give knowledge. I think it's really important for people to pick and choose mentors. You don't have to have one. You can have multiple mentors, right?
Yeah, you should have. I mean, I probably have 10 in different facets of my life.
Yeah, you can have a career mentor. You can have, you know, a sports mentor. You can have a financial mentor. You can have a mentor. You can have a mentor just to have a mentor. It doesn't matter. But it's really important to have them, because that mentally is going to propel you in the upward motion that, you know, to achieve like whatever your goals may be.
It makes it easier. I know for me, I had several, and it gave me the confidence that it was even actually possible, because when you dream it, you think of, hey, it's this uphill battle. It might happen. It might not. But then when somebody comes in your life, whether it's in it's sports or it's financial or it's you know, going to a certain college that you want to go to or get a certain job, you get somebody that's mentoring you that's in that field or in that sport. They actually will tell you, or maybe they won't tell you, and going, it's probably not going to happen for you. Maybe you should take a different path, right? Sometimes you're in a cul-de-sac and you keep going in the same way, and sometimes you need to turn around and go in a different direction.
That is a beautiful
And
thing.
they need to be real.
Well, that's the thing.
You know?
Mentors, a real mentor is going to be honest.
It's not an echo chamber.
Yeah. A real mentor is going to be honest. They're
So
not
be prepared.
Yeah, they're not going to stroke your ego.
No.
They're not going to. It's not going to be all flowers and puppy dogs. You know, they're gonna give you they're gonna give you tough love. If they're a real mentor, they're going to give you tough love. They're going to give you hard things to think about. They're going to tell you what your faults are and what you need to be better at. They're really, really going to almost tear you down to make you think and act to be better.
Yeah.
And that's a good mentor.
Yeah. And it happened in my life with one of my mentors that we were actually surfing one day in Malibu, and he looked at me, and I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he looked at me and says, I just don't want to screw it up, because he's built up this massive empire.
This is your mentor speaking.
This is my mentor talking to me. And so I'm all of a sudden he's venting to me because we've shared all of this history with what we went through together. And when he told me that, I looked at him and I was like, wow, like, you're human. Like, it was really bizarre. And I said, you're going to crush it. Like, you're you, like, you're the man. And he looked at me and you see this vulnerability where, like, not that I'm becoming his mentor, but you've developed this tight bond with this person that will never go away. Maybe they won't always be accessible, because from what I've read too, you know, in mentorships, there's a point where they're just going to release you to the wild, and they'll still keep tabs on you, but they're not going to hold you under their wing. They're going to let you go because you're ready.
Yeah, you spread your wings. You'll hear it through life, and we're gonna let you spread your wings, or you need to spread your wings and go, or whatever it be. Like, there's a certain point in time where you have to go out and you have to face the world head on, and no one can do that but you, right? You at home have to choose to face the world head on. People are not going to do that for you, right? And then we'll get to, I'm sure, because I know it's in the back of my mind, failing. And how to deal with failure, right? What you can't do is let failure get you down, right? And we'll have an episode probably on failing and what that means and how to overcome it and how to push through it. But just because you failed, you shouldn't give up, right? I can guarantee you, if you choose the right mentors, those mentors failed a million times, but they didn't give up to get to where they are. Basically, they adjusted and moved on and moved past it. And, you know, just in short, for me, failure is an opportunity to learn.
It's always.
Yeah.
So, I think in sports too is when I would lose in a game, or just a bad performance, or sometimes we won and I would have a bad performance, or whatever it was, and you'd sit there and analyze way more than when you performed well or performed real. You enjoy winning, but when you lose, it is like an all-night deal, maybe the next day, where you're analyzing every single thing that you did wrong. And that whole point, you're learning, right? If you go out and repeat the same mistakes, you're probably not applying what you learned. But at the end of the day, that's the most crucial thing. And I think some people hate losing more than they enjoy winning.
Right.
And that's me. Like, winning is expected. Losing is like, there's nothing worse. And I think when we're talking about finances, let's loop back there, is when we talk about cash flow, and if you're spending more than you're bringing in, right, like, you're losing.
You're losing, and
that does not feel.
That's a big L, right there.
Or if you're just hovering, you're spending what you're bringing in. That's okay. You're not losing money. You're not gaining money. That's an okay. But if you're starting to stack some money and you're headed in the right direction, now you're winning. You're not making huge wins, but you're making way more than losing. And I hate to be, the jock and the knucklehead in the group here, but I feel like that's just very understandable for everybody, is you're winning or you're losing, or you're just kind of hovering in neutral,
Well, I hope a lot of our viewers and a lot of people that take to what we're saying are athletes. I was an athlete a long time ago, didn't play collegiate athletics, but you did at a high level. For those of you that don't know, George Romaine is an Olympian, right? So you just heard an example from probably one of the highest athletes that is to grace the earth, to be honest. An Olympian. I don't know what the number is or the fraction of people that actually make it to the Olympics and then start in the Olympics and then also become male athlete of the year in the Olympics. I don't know, but that's pretty slim, I would say. Do you know the statistic on that?
I don't care. We didn't medal. Sad story, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So there you go. He
that's
doesn't
all.
I'm
still obsessing.
He doesn't like to lose. He's still obsessing, but he gave you a great example. From a high level athlete, if you didn't know. One of the highest, probably to grace the earth, like I said. But at the same time, for all of the athletes at home, they might look to you to be a mentor. They might put things in the comments and ask you, how did you overcome this? Or how did you overcome that? Or how did you break through this mentally? That would be great too.
Yep.
This show is about finance, but it's really about life experience, right? This is a life experience show based on finance. But George also was an athlete, so a lot of his examples, if you've watched other videos, revolve around athletics, such as surfing. I think the majority of one episode was you talking about surfing.
That's all I want to do is surf, for the record.
Did you have a mentor in surfing?
I did.
Who is your mentor in surfing?
I did. Well, I've had a bunch
Kelly
of them.
Slater.
Well, Kelly Slater is my let's call it my role model. He's extremely healthy. He's got 11 world titles. Extremely humble guy for what he's the greatest athlete,
financially successful too, right?
Of course.
And I think there is an interview with him where he fell on hard times.
Correct. Yeah.
I think he fell on hard times at one point and had to rebuild.
This was, I think, after his first world title, one of the first surfers to really actually move the needle to make money.
Right.
And then he ran into some hard times and then obviously recovered and greatest athlete of all time. But again, he's a role model, idol of mine. But as far as like surf mentors, I've had so many because this is going to sound so shallow, but a lot of my friends that surf are extremely good surfers. And it's like I have access to all these guys that are really good surfers and bounce ideas off of and get tips and techniques and board choices and gear, and I feel like I've had so many surf mentors, but one that I got my first surf lesson from a guy named Nick Rosa. He's a Ventura local, one of the best surfers in my mind ever.
Sure.
And wasn't really a contest guy, but a free surfer. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's awesome.
And you?
My mentor, I've only really had one mentor, I think. But it's been career oriented, so it's been in the entertainment industry. He was an entrepreneur. He was a high level producer, executive producer. He, from what I gathered from external people in the industry that have come up with him and about him, he was one of the first to figure out how to make the variety show or the TV special profitable and how to turn that production around in a short amount of time, but make it profitable.
Do you think he would come on the show?
He might. I'm going to ask and see if we can get him here. I don't know. The hard part about this show is to get those folks that will really open up for you at home and give you their life story, so you can take away from these professionals, tips, tricks, life experience, real life things, but we're going to definitely go out to him, and as you talked about Kelly Slater, I think he might be one we can go out to as well. Kelly, if you get a hold of this, we'd love to have you on the show,
That would be awesome.
Mentors. I don't have much more. I hope you understand what a mentor is. I hope you choose mentors that, influence you and push you to be better. And I hope that you take that knowledge and you instill it in your life to push you to the next level. I mean, that's about wraps it up for me.
At the end of the day, it's a massive springboard, and if you're not going to utilize finding a mentor and finding the right one and then executing on that, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. Massive, if you do not find one in your financial life, one in your career goals, maybe somebody that has a family and you want to have a family. Go find those mentors, because they're out there, and they're also your friends too, right? A friend can also be a mentor.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know some of you probably aren't outgoing, right? But don't be shy. Like mentors, like George said earlier, it strokes their ego a little bit. You know,
Totally.
They want to help. A lot of people want to. They want to be asked, right? It makes them feel good about themselves. So if you're shy or you're a reserved person, you know, push yourself to go and talk to and find a mentor. You know, don't listen to this and then go, I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to be bullish, or I'm not going to be aggressive. I'm telling you, you know, start, if you're that way, start with a family member. Find a family member that's been successful in some form or fashion, and use that as a stepping stone to going outside of your family and finding a mentor, right? Don't stop there. I suggest that, you know, you push yourself to just be better. Be better. Ask so you can get.
There you go. I love it. I think that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Born Broke with Mike Hofarth, and that's a wrap.